The streets of the city are becoming crowded again at night. The curfew was recently lifted, and it appears as if people are feeling more and more comfortable coming out of their homes. Good morning. If you're just waking up and tuning in, it is 6:29 on the nose on a Thursday. I'm Rob Morrison.
While things change slowly in Kabul, it's a different story entirely beyond the capital city. Very little of the aid money is making it out here.
Emily Raber's birthday.
That's right.
One of our producers who we love. Good morning, Emily. I'm Rob Morrison. And for the first time ever, the average price of a gallon of regular gasoline has topped $4 on Long Island. Marines moved into the presidential palace here on March 1st, the day after they arrived in country. This is one of many locations around Port-au-Prince from which they conduct their mission.
Public transportation has changed dramatically here in Kabul. Last year at this time, there was no bus service. Now these buses run every day, given to the country by India and Iran. An intense search in Queens for 3 men who ran away from an overnight accident that killed a 5-year-old boy. A contract battle at the NYPD is finally over, with big raises being awarded to officers by an arbitration panel. A new public awareness campaign begins today to warn parents about the dangers of sleeping with their babies. One movie chain has scrapped its plan to eliminate discount tickets for seniors and children. People in the news right now. Drew Barrymore says it was hit and run. We're walking north through the city to a church where the Marines are going to deliver some food and water. Along the way, they're interacting with the local population. They say several weeks ago a mission like this wouldn't have been possible. Rampant redevelopment is putting the uniqueness of one city neighborhood at risk. People get an extra 5 seconds of looking at you. They're lucky.
Very sweet, thank you.
They'll pay more. The Treasury Department may be forced to redesign the country's paper money. It's called the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. There was a red carpet premiere last night in Harlem, and Kat Greenleaf was there. Doesn't feel like Fleet Week is kicking off.
It doesn't feel quite warm enough yet.
Oh, my goodness. Good morning. 5:29 on this Wednesday morning. Welcome if you're just tuning in. I'm Rob Morrison. This morning, warships will sail in the New York harbor for what's being called the smallest Fleet Week ever. A wild visitor drops into one West Coast neighborhood. Hey, Tom, you ever seen a UFO?
You know, I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Do I think they exist?
Do you?
You know, I'm not convinced they don't.
Okay.
I see where he's going.
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right.
I'm hedging my bets, let's put it that way.
Get this. You'll be interested in this. They're being called Britain's X-Files. 30 years of UFO sightings are being made public. Well, check this out. An unusual theft caught on camera in Wisconsin. It could soon be illegal for teens to text message while they drive in Suffolk County. So what if there was some sort of short circuit and he started doing this?
Right.
Would the musicians speed up? Or would they stay on page?
I don't know. I think they'd have to speed up, right?
I don't know.
Like, yeah, do you follow the maestro? Do you follow the sheet music? We're not musicians, so.
Interesting conundrum in this day and age. Welcome back to Today in New York. It's been a while since we've updated your music on the iPod, so give a listen to what's topping the charts. The Tony Award nominations are out and going way uptown.
Can't believe it, but I'm sitting with the legend. He won a gold in the Olympics, 3 MVPs, appeared in 9 NBA Finals, but Magic Johnson's success is not limited to the court. He has been the recipient of countless awards and honors, and now he's helping to jumpstart a new project in our area. And Magic Johnson joins us this morning to talk about this new venture. Good morning.
Good morning.
Such a pleasure to meet you. I can't even begin to express it.
Well, you know, it's been great. And you talked about you being a Larry Bird fan from Boston.
I wanted to tell you that you caused so much angst in my household. I grew up in Boston in the 80s. But now that I look back on it, and we were just saying, I feel lucky to have witnessed that, the two teams just competing at that level.
Well, we started it off.
All those sleepless nights you cost me and my dad back in the 80s, Magic.
And trust me, Larry caused a lot of sleepless nights for me, too.
Well, your basketball reputation, of course, precedes you. One of the greatest ever. But right now, you're the chairman and CEO of the Johnson Development Corporation, which is doing amazing things off the court. Specifically today, you're going to be unveiling a home loan center in Newark. Tell me about this.
Well, what we've done is I hooked up with Washington Mutual, and Washington Mutual is a #1 home lender. And what we try to do is make sure that minorities have really a piece of the American pie.
And this really is your business model. You've done it with movie theaters.
Yes.
You've done it with workout centers. You've done it with lots of other things. And it's become your passion now. And it's gotten the attention of lots of other corporations and business leaders in the country. Where did this come from? Where did the idea start?
Well, what I wanted to do was to rebuild urban America. So I started with the movie theaters, then Starbucks, and then we went to TGI Fridays and 24-hour fitness health clubs.
Before you go, we talked about Celtics, Lakers in the 80s. These days, Red Sox, Yankees. Deb was in there talking to you. She says you know a lot about this. What are your thoughts on this rivalry?
Well, first of all, it's probably the best rivalry and one of the best of all time in sports.
Great meeting you, Magic. And you'll be in Newark today, kicking off this home loan program.
Yes, and I hope Alex Rodriguez win the MVP, because he is the MVP.
I'm going to have to vote for I'm going to have to vote for Dave. Once again, we're on opposite sides of the table, Magic. David Ortiz. Sebastian, good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in. Recently, you spent 3 or 4 weeks in Afghanistan. You had a unique perspective because you saw really both sides of what was happening there. You spent time in the villages and the cities, and you also spent time with U.S. troops. And before we get into the details, just overall, when you left, did you leave feeling optimistic or less than optimistic?
I felt very mixed.
This really is, in the truest sense, a counterinsurgency here. There's a battle right now for hearts and minds that the Americans are waging. Meanwhile, there's a campaign of terror underway by this Taliban that seems to be growing and reforming daily.
Yeah, the Taliban can't hope to fight the U.S. military directly. Pretty much nobody can hope to do that in the world, particularly with our air power.
I remember being there back in 2001, shortly after September 11th, and I was with the Marines in Kandahar when they took that city. Unlike Iraq, the Afghans really did welcome the Americans, and I know that that's been your experience too. They're sort of caught in the middle now. How do they handle that?
Yeah, when I was there around the same time, I was in Kabul, and I literally was hugged on the streets of Kabul because I was American.
Let's talk about where the war and politics intersect, as you wrote in your article, and that is Pakistan. What's going on with Pakistan? Are they our ally or aren't they when it comes to Afghanistan?
Well, as far as I could tell, they're sort of both.